Next, especially considering right now that the financial world is experiencing a liquidity freeze. So as a cash-rich company with lots of liquidity, they are in a good position to expand without even worrying about the need to borrow. And as compared to the competitors, possibly who might be experiencing major liquidity freeze and liquidity problems, they are in a better position. They can consider looking to expand their own print media, or even consider looking into other investments, divestments into other industries. Next, the threats. Rise of new media, again, is as much a threat as an opportunity, because there's new competition in terms of possible companies that's going to involve themselves in new media and threaten their position as a major media monopoly company. Okay, next, if we look into the market, there's rising individualism in the new generation. So the demand for alternative voices is stronger. And if they are in the Asian markets, they have to look out for this too. So with this demand for alternative voices, as a monopoly, they may face reducing readership, because people don't want to hear the main voice. They want to hear alternative voices. So, and also, not only do they want to hear alternative voices, they are looking for different ways to look for their news. For example, blogging, in the internet, TV even is becoming a little bit obsolete. So this is definitely a major threat to them in the long run, that they may have to consider to move away from their print media only. 5 minutes remaining. Okay, so the possible long-term fall in demand is definitely coming from two places. One is from the demand for alternative voices, and one is there are new ways of looking for information. Yeah. So in summary, if we look at it, even though these threats are definitely threatening their main position in terms of a print media company and in terms of a media company, but as a local company who is famous in their home country and with lots of liquidity, they are in a good position to expand. They should consider these threats and capitalize on it to make it end-to-end opportunities.
All right, thank you very much, Team A. That concludes their presentation, finishing up in good time as well. Now, Team B's, if I could have you place your flip chart in the center of the stage, perhaps go out in front, and remember to bring your mics with you, especially for the speaker. All right, Team B, well, the case scenario is as behind you. And if you're ready to begin and the judges are ready, your time, 10 minutes, starts now.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. We have identified several strengths of this cash-rich media company. Firstly, of course, cash-rich. They have a lot of cash right now, so that's the main thing. Very big assets for this company. Now, a lot of companies don't have cash. They're lending to the banks, going to the banks, and we can see opportunities there. Another, they're a market leader. Obviously, they're a monopoly. There's undisputed market leader. There's no competition in this area. And another strength of that is we're assuming that they're reputable. That's why they're a monopoly. And they have this credibility, and that's why they're able to capture this market. And lastly, we're assuming this is a local company, they have knowledge of market in case of threats, which we would see later. Now, for the weaknesses. Okay, weaknesses. Firstly, without competition, internal strength. Inside the company, it might lead to sitting on their laurels because they see that their cash is always coming every day. So this would lead to X efficiency. They won't think really about the costs of the company as they're having a lot of profit. Therefore, this area would be neglected by the company. And they may not also be motivated to increase their quality of products because as a monopoly, there's no competition, and therefore there's no that competitive threat.
Thank you, Paul. Okay. Paul just talked about strengths and weaknesses, which are the internal strengths and weaknesses of the company. Now we look at the foreign environment, the external environment, and analyze what are the opportunities and threats available for the company. There are many opportunities available for the company. First of all, better technology is coming in, and this provides the company with more means to reach the masses. And we recommend that the company diversify into other kind of media so that they can provide the message with better technology. And this, combined with their strength of credibility and knowledge of market, could be a very good, it could be an opportunity which they can leverage upon. And also, because they are a monopoly and they are cash rich, they can do innovation. They can they can try out exciting strategies which may not be possible in a very competitive environment. And finally, because they are cash rich, and nowadays the environment is there's a financial turmoil going on into the international market, they can always go out there and acquire newspaper companies, print media companies which are selling at really cheap prices below their net assets values. So this may be one of the ways for them to expand in the international market. We believe that because it's a monopoly and it's a home-based business, they may concentrate a lot on the local market and may be familiar with the taste of the local market. And when they diversify into the international market, they may face problems. That's why we don't recommend organic growth. We recommend acquisitions, so they can leverage on the knowledge of the companies they acquire. Of course, all companies also have threats from the external environment. First of all, in real life, it is very rare to find a print media monopoly in a country, and the reason is that there are a lot of huge companies out there in the foreign market, in the international market, that are always on the hunt for supernormal profit. Print industry is a very cutthroat industry. There is always high competition. So if there are supernormal profits existing in some country, foreign market newspapers are sure to jump in. But they can neutralize this threat with their credibility and their knowledge of the market, which is their strength. Also, because they have several good brands, they have a variety of brands, the market is saturated, so innovation might be a problem in that sense in the home market. Finally, I just mentioned that internet and other forms of technology are an opportunity. Well, they're also a threat, because just as they can leverage on these technologies to reach the masses at very low cost and quite easily, other companies may also do that. And if you notice, most of the print media companies already have websites. They have electronic versions. So if you, what we are suggesting in opportunities is that they go out of their way, they actively search for new technologies, PDAs and mobile phones and every way to reach the masses as many ways as possible. But the same can be said for other companies which are looking to enter the market. They can use these very cheap medias to start up a business.
The fourth threat that we've identified is the ASEAN Economic Community by 2015. It's actually not a threat as it is. It's also an opportunity that this print media company can take advantage on, because by 2015 there will be no barriers to flow of goods and services within ASEAN. Therefore, there will be greater integration, and therefore, we see threats like other media companies, newspaper companies from our neighboring countries, Indonesia, Philippines, and we can also take advantage of their market to expand in our expansion program. Okay, after analyzing the company, we have come up with 4 action plans. As Timur has mentioned earlier, we can diversify into other forms of media, as internet and mobile technology, phones, and PDAs and all that. And as you mentioned earlier as well, we can acquire foreign companies, smaller media companies, which are right now at bargain prices, perhaps due to the economic recession. And as I mentioned earlier, also the company's main asset is its reputation. One of its main assets is reputation and credibility. Therefore, they need to focus on CSR so as to increase their reputation capital. And how they're going to do about this is to be more visible in their charitable practices, perhaps, or corporate governance also. And that's one thing that's very important. The board of directors need to have a diverse mix of directors. You can't have just everyone from the government or everyone, what do you call this? There must be a certain level of independence of the directors so as to increase their transparency and reputation. And lastly, as we talked about, we expand into other markets, maybe in the region organically, and For other companies like in Europe or in the US, we can go through acquisitions. All right.
Okay, one more thing that I would like to say is that because it's a monopoly...
3 minutes left. 3 minutes remaining.
It's a monopoly in a home market, so I find it very suspicious that a monopoly like this exists. So maybe there's some kind of pressure from the government to be politically correct or to always be positive about the government, like many banks, like many newspapers in China, and I won't bite words, even in Singapore, we have this pressure. So if that is the case, then this CSR is especially relevant because they can increase their credibility in other ways, even if they don't increase it in their core competency, if there is pressure on the government. That's all for our presentation. And
the winning proposal is none other than Team B. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Team B scores 300 additional points. And of course, that brings that total to 300 plus 130 to 430. Team A, no worries. Your total scores now stands at 350. You're the second best team, right? Of course, with 250 points added to your total score. So we do have a winning team that will enter the finals. Congratulations.